Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Today, I figured I haven't done a vlog style video in quite a while, so why not do one today? And as you can see right now, we are in the eBay room, which means I need to get my sales out for this weekend. It was a pretty average weekend. I had like 20 to 25 sales, nothing crazy, but there's a good variety of items. So let's see what sold. First item going out is a Jurassic Park T-Rex, and I can see his tail sticking out right there. Alright, this Jurassic Park Battle Damage T-Rex right here sold for $32.50. Next, over here in my closet, I have some extra shoes stored up here that don't fit in my bins, and this pair of Nike Air Max Tavas sold for $35. Then right over in here, we got a Game Boy game that needs to go out. There we go. Quicks on the Game Boy sold for $9. Next, we got a couple G.I. Joes that need to go out. The first one right here is this Action Pilot Astronaut. It's the complete figure. He's missing his ship, but he sold for $33. And then we have the October Guard Red Star V1. He is 100% complete, and he sold for $32.50. Those G.I. Joes are selling really well. The first like week and a half, 2 weeks that I had them up there, they were flying out of the stores, and I think the ones that I have left are like the ones that are a little bit more priced up, or they're the ones that aren't 100% complete, so they're taking a little bit longer, but they are still selling very well. Back over here into the closet here, we got this BMW Athletics jacket. This I just picked up at a garage sale the other weekend for like $2 or something, and it sold for $50. Another recent pickup over here, one of the hats that I picked up the other weekend right here, this Woolrich fleece-lined Sherpa hat sold for $30. Then we've got this Casio fishing watch right here. This sold for $32.50. The next item going out is this Sony Walkman cassette player. Now, this actually did not 100% work when I tested it out. The radio portion ended up working, but I could not get the cassettes to play inside the tape, so I made sure to note that within the listing's description. Then I messaged the buyer once they bought the item to make sure they knew that. They said that was fine, so this sold for $20. Next is this Gaiason cashmere sweater. This sold for $25. Then up here in the tie bin, I have a tie going out. Actually, I think it's this one right here. All right. Yep, this one right here is a Canali necktie. This sold for $23.50. Going back up top, up here, we got this Nakona tooled belt. I just picked this up the other weekend as well, and this one sold for $20. This one's a little different. I got these generic like HD security cameras at the Amazon Overstock store near me, and these ended up selling for 25 bucks. Yeah, $25 on these guys. Next, we've got this vintage Joe Santrini. No idea who he is, but it's a music shirt, and that one sold for $24. Next, down here in my inventory from North Carolina that I still have in these boxes is this down puffer jacket. This is a Blanc Noir one, and it sold for $25. Actually, it looks like we got one more item from Charlotte going out, and this is a brand I've never sold before. Here we have a Dewberry vest. I've never sold this brand before, but I found it at a thrift store when I was down in Charlotte, and it looks like comps were pretty dang good on them, and this one sold for $80. Not too bad. That's a good bolo right there. Be on the lookout for Dewberry. I'll be looking out for it in the future. That was a great sale. And then surprisingly, I only have one video game going out today, Mario Kart DS. This sold for $22. There we go, some AG Adriano Goldschmied jeans. Those sold for $38.50. All that stuff is pretty straightforward to ship, so I'm not going to show any of it, but I'll see you in just a second. Hands of a surgeon. All right, everything is packed up now and ready to get out to the post office, and on the way back, I'm going to stop and go to the climbing gym and maybe hit a thrift store. We'll see what happens. Let's do that. I believe I can fly. Hello, Climb Cincy. I know some of you out there wonder why I include climbing clips and stuff every once in a while in my reseller vlogs, and it's pretty simple. One, because it's my channel and I'll do what I want. And secondly, because we as resellers have a pretty sedentary job. I mean, the majority of our time is spent in front of a computer screen, like listing stuff or, you know, taking pictures or packing stuff up. The only really physical part of our jobs and most of our days is if we're going out sourcing, and even then you're kind of just walking around. So I like to include some physical stuff in my channel to hopefully inspire some of you guys to go out there and do something a little more physical on your time off. Maybe, you know, go take a walk or join a climbing gym or do something like that, because our jobs are pretty sedentary, so that's why I include it. But now let's get in there and send some routes. filming today's vlog. Say hi. All right, good session. My arms are dead, my hands are ripped up. That's how you know it was a good session. You guys didn't get to see a ton because I basically projected 1v6 the entire time, but it was still a good session because we made progress. But let's go ahead and go down and hit a thrift store, then we'll head home. Okay, we had a little bit of change in plans. As you guys can probably see, I got a haircut. I really needed one and it was really hot out, so I went with something shorter. Hopefully it looks okay, but we just pulled up to the Goodwill. Let's go inside and see if we can't find anything now. Goodwill. Reebok CrossFits, $20. Sheesh. 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 That was a quick in and out. They had their stuff priced up way too high today. One thing I always get asked is, how long do I spend in stores? So that run right there was really quick. I was in and out within like 5 minutes just because I just took a quick lap around. It's a smaller store, but on average, I would say I spend between like 15, maybe 20 minutes in a store when I'm actually finding stuff. And then on a longer day, I might spend an hour in there if I decide to go through every single rack of stuff. But usually in the summers, I'm pretty fast at going in and out of stores. So I'm on average in there about 15 minutes. This store is also notorious for like marking up stuff really high, oftentimes even above eBay prices. So I wasn't expecting to find much here, but there is another thrift store not too far from here. So I'm gonna go hit that real fast. Maybe even stop in at a game exchange or TJ Maxx and see if we can't do some real retail arbitrage as well. All right, Goodwill, show me what you got. Check it out, going down the shirts and found a New York Red Bulls jersey. It's an Adidas official one. It's a men's small, not the greatest sizing, but that is pretty dang cool. I don't know the last time I found a Red Bulls jersey. Paying $5 for it, and that should go for at least 30 bucks. That is an awesome piece right there. I love how the New York Red Bulls jerseys look. Okay, heading out from Goodwill. Only got that jersey, not the best, but at least we got something. Hey, we're back in the eBay room now, and I think I'm going to just take the rest of the day to get some listing done. I'm pretty behind on the stuff that I need to get listing because last week was a different week. It was stressful and I didn't get much done. But this week I need to catch up on stuff, so I think I'm going to spend this time and get a bunch of listing done. And one of the most asked questions I get about my eBay business is how I take photos. So I thought I'd show you guys this little setup that I have. I've showed it a few times in videos, but it is a very budget-friendly setup for anybody who's just getting into eBay. So let me show you this. So this area right over here is my photo setup. So you can see I have one ring light right here. This is the main light that I use, and it can usually illuminate whatever I need it to over here. And then if I need a little more light, I have this little touch light up here that I can bend down and get a little bit more light for larger items. But the majority of stuff fits right on here. But this right here is a budget setup. This is just a table that I have cardboard on to extend the base of it out for larger items and to fit this white sheet on here. And then that's all I did was go to Dollar Tree and buy these little cheap hooks right here and ran this is like a shower curtain rod roll right here, and it holds the roll of paper in place. Pretty straightforward. And then the roll of paper, this is just photo paper I got off of Amazon, and you could even use newsprint, which I did for a while. The photo paper just stays cleaner longer, so I don't have to replace it as much. But that is a very budget-friendly setup right there. You do not need to have a professional photo studio in order to get good-looking photos for your eBay listings. It's just not needed. You can see a simple photo setup like the one I have does the job just fine. Yes, my backgrounds aren't going to be completely white, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I necessarily don't like the all stark white backgrounds. I kind of like the DIY homemade look to it, and honestly I don't even think a white background is needed. The only reason that I use it is because it does help out in Google rankings. But then again, how many sales are you actually making from people on the Google searches compared to the people searching for the item just straight on eBay? It probably isn't making a huge difference. If you can't get a white background, it's not that big of a deal. So let me show you how easy it is to photograph something on a cheap setup like this. I'm going to photograph that jersey that we just got today and show you just how clean it looks on a budget setup. So to take photos of my item, it's pretty simple. It's all I do is first I get the item laid out in a flat lay position, which is just flat on the table like this. And then once I'm happy with the position, I just take my phone, I take all of my photos on my phone, I get a picture of the front, then I just take a tape measure and I measure from the top of the shoulder down to the hem, take a picture of that. Then we get a picture of the pit to pit, so straight across the chest right here. Then before we flip it over, I get a picture of the inner tag so they can see that right on the listing. And then finally, you just flip it over and the last picture will be of the back lay. And it's just that simple. Now, if there were any defects on it, like stains or marks or tears or rips or anything like that, I would also take this time to go in and photograph each one of those. But this thing is in great condition, so no other photos are needed. And it really is that simple for taking pictures. Look, let me show you the pictures that we just got. Here is the picture of the front of the shirt, the back of the shirt, the shoulder to hem, the pit to pit, and then the size tag. That is all that we needed to photograph this shirt. Now, there is one more thing that I want to show you guys before I move on. Once I'm finished photographing the item, I just take it and put it in the bin that I'm currently working on, which is usually right next to my photo setup. And you can see each of these bins has a letter on it. If we go over and look straight behind me, all of my bins have different letters on them, and that's how I identify where in my inventory system the item is. So this Red Bull one just went into bin Y. So in eBay's custom field, I'm going to go in while I'm doing the listing and then put in bin Y in the custom field space. So once the item sells, I can just look at that, grab the bin off the shelf, and get it shipped out. It makes organizing and shipping stuff way easier. And trust me, one of the biggest mistakes that new resellers and even seasoned resellers make is not having a defined inventory system. Like this stuff all right, how do I point this? All this stuff right here to you guys, it might seem disorganized and unorganized to you, but I have a system that I am comfortable with. Yes, it might look a little messy, but I know where everything is just by simply looking at that custom SKU in my eBay listing. So every time I get an item that needs to be shipped out, it's pretty straightforward for the shipping process. Seriously, get organized, because when you start growing, you do not want to end up looking through all of these bins down here for a single shirt. Trust me, I've been there, I've done that. It is not fun. Another question that I always get when people see all this stuff is, how many items do you have actively listed on your eBay store? And is that the normal amount to be successful as a full-time reseller? And well, that's kind of hard to answer. So you can be a successful full-time reseller and have like 50 items on your store if they are high sell-through rate items that are like replenishable, where you're selling a ton of them a day. You know, you're selling like 50 units of one product a day. You could have 50 listings and be completely fine. Or you could even have 50 very high dollar listings that are selling for like thousands, and again, be completely fine. For someone like me who sources from thrift stores and yard sales and auctions and flea markets and stuff like that, because I find it fun, this size inventory is about 800 different items on my store at any given time. I usually hover between like 700 and 1,000. I think I'm currently right around 800, still building it up from my trip back from Charlotte, but that works for me, and that's not necessarily going to work for you. It all depends on how you structure your store. There are full-time resellers out there that have tens of thousands of items because they are fine with a lower profit margin. But for me, with someone who has an average sell-through rate or an average sell price of around $40 per item, this is pretty good for me. I live comfortably off of this, and I also have other streams of income that help supplement this, not just my eBay business. I also have my Amazon side of things. I have my Etsy side of things. I have all the other little tiny avenues. YouTube's a small one. But my point is that I'm trying to make, you need to find a system that works for you. My system isn't going to work for you guys. Your systems might not work for me. It all depends on your circumstances. Do you have a room this large to store things in? Do you have the amount of containers to store things in? Do you have a very low cost of buying stuff to where you don't need as big of profit margins? Are your profit margins very large so you don't need this big a space? It's all going to depend on your situation. You just need to figure out what works best for you and then figure out how to scale it from that point on. And that's what's going to make you successful in the long run. So in the end of the day, my videos are just kind of a guide to help you guys along the way in your reselling journey. I cannot give you an end-all be-all answer to how many items you need to have, how many listings you should be doing a week, that sort of thing. It's just something that's going to vary person to person. No reseller or professional full-time seller is going to be able to tell you this stuff. It's all going to be unique to your situation, and there is no one way to do things the correct way. There are plenty of ways out there that work, and you just need to figure out the combination of things that works for you. However, there is one constant that does help me out in my business, and that's when you guys go down low and hit that like button. It lets me know that you're enjoying the content that I'm putting out, that you're getting some value from the information I'm providing. And while you're down there, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to my channel? I hope that I've earned it by this point. If I've given you some tips or you've learned a thing or two, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. It'll keep you up to date whenever I drop a new piece of content. Otherwise, thank you guys all for watching. I hope that you guys all enjoyed. I'm going to take the rest of the day and get some listing done, and I hope that you guys have a successful week in the reselling game. Until next time, keep on treasure hunting. Peace.